Sarah thought she could destroy me by proving our son wasn't mine. They say the truth will set you free, but for Sarah, the truth destroyed her. This is the story of a woman who tried to use a DNA test as a weapon, only to have it blow up in her face. Mark lived for his 5-year-old son, Ethan. Every morning was a sacred ritual of laughter, Lego sets, and a bond that felt absolutely unbreakable. Mark would wake up early every Saturday just to make Ethan his favorite blueberry pancakes. In those moments, Mark felt like the richest man alive. He didn't have a mansion or a luxury car, but he had something far more valuable. He had Ethan's laughter. But while Mark poured his soul into his family, his wife, Sarah, was becoming a ghost in her own home. She stopped joining them for Pancake Saturdays. She stopped asking about Mark's day. Then she stopped looking at him altogether. She was cold, distant, and constantly shielded by the glow of her smartphone screen. Mark could feel his marriage crumbling, but he held on for Ethan. He was wrong to hold on. The explosion happened on a rainy Tuesday evening. Sarah walked into the kitchen accompanied by a man in a sharp gray suit, a lawyer. Sarah didn't just ask for a divorce that night. She threw a live grenade into Mark's heart. "I'm leaving, Mark, and I'm taking Ethan. Don't bother fighting for him in court because he isn't even yours. I have been seeing a wealthy businessman for years. Ethan is his son. You are nothing but a placeholder." Mark felt the room spin. He looked at this woman, the woman he had loved and built a life with, and he saw a complete stranger. She demanded a court-ordered DNA test, planning to walk away with her rich lover and leave Mark with nothing but a broken heart and an empty house. The weeks that followed were the darkest of Mark's life. Every time he looked at Ethan, his heart shattered. He didn't care about biology. He had raised this boy. He had taught him to walk, to talk, to ride a bike. He was Ethan's father in every way that mattered, but Sarah only cared about money. The day of the hearing arrived like a funeral. Sarah sat across the aisle, dressed in expensive designer clothes, wearing a smug, triumphant smile. She was so confident. She was so sure she had already won. The judge held the sealed envelope containing the DNA results. Mark gripped the edge of the table, his knuckles turning white. The judge opened the envelope and read the results. Then he looked up and stared directly at Sarah. "Mrs. Miller, these results are highly unusual." Sarah leaned forward, that arrogant grin spreading across her face. In her mind, this was her victory moment. The test conclusively confirms that Mr. Mark Miller is the biological father of Ethan. Sarah's smile vanished instantly, but the judge wasn't finished. However, the results also show a 0% maternal match. "Mrs. Miller, you are not this child's biological mother." The courtroom erupted into gasps. Sarah's face turned completely pale. The truth came out like a flood. 5 years ago, a rare hospital mix-up had occurred. Ethan was indeed Mark's biological son from a previous relationship where the mother tragically passed away. Through a terrible clerical error, Sarah had been handed the wrong baby. Because Sarah had demanded the DNA test to prove Mark was not the father, she inadvertently proved she had no legal or biological standing. She had no right to the boy she had neglected. The judge granted Mark full custody. And the final nail in Sarah's coffin? Her wealthy lover, disgusted by the scandal, left her before she even stepped out of the courthouse. She wanted a life of luxury. Instead, she ended up with no husband, no son, no lover, and no future. Mark walked out of that courthouse, went straight to Ethan's school, and hugged him tighter than he ever had before. He had lost a wife, but he had kept his son. And that was all that ever truly mattered. Karma has a funny way of finishing the stories we start. Sarah tried to use the truth as a weapon, but it became the very thing that set Mark free. If you believe that what goes around always comes back around, smash that like button and subscribe to Karma Chronicles for more stories of justice served. See you in the next one.